So we are on the Newport City YouTube channel, and we're joined by first team manager Sam Houldsworth. Sam, it's been a long pre-season after that win at Abertillery that kept us in the Ardal Southeastern League. How are you? Are you excited to get back to it?
Yeah, good. It's I'm never a massive fan of pre-season as a manager. It's always a bit of a difficult and challenging time. But in terms of getting going now, definitely excited for the season ahead. Obviously starting on Saturday, but yeah, really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I mean, as we said, season started properly and officially on Saturday in the Welsh Cup against Goitra. 1-0 victors against a team that we all think, and I think the whole of the Welsh sort of pyramid think are the favourites for this league. Not according to Dragon Bet though. But yeah, how did you feel about that game? How did it go?
Well, it was a scrappy game of football. I think it's one of those games that ended up kind of being first game of the season. Nerves. I think both teams kind of went into it not necessarily wanting to lose rather than going for the win. It was a strange atmosphere and a strange game. Like the first half didn't really do much for the neutral. They had the better chances. They were the better team, and we didn't get going. But obviously, we had 9 debutants, 9 new players. We got to take a bit of time to kind of gel. But yeah, the goal that won the game was an outstanding goal, and yeah, it's deserved of winning any game of football. But it was great to get that kind of winning start and get that bit of team togetherness going straight away. Really.
Yeah, let's talk about that goal. I think it's been reverberating around social media how much of an absolute rock it was from Josh. Being honest, did you expect that on the opening day? Would that be goal of the season?
No, not at all. Like I can. He's been in training. He's been like trying to hit him. So it's not like something he doesn't do. He tries having a pop and stuff from distance, but I've not seen one fly in. In fact, I've not seen one go close actually. So yeah, it was a bit of a shock. One of the guys after the game from them, because he was obviously there last season, and mentioned that he won't hit one like that again. But I hope he's got a few more in the locker. That's for sure, because it was a cracking goal.
It certainly was. And as you mentioned, 9 debutants. And I believe, is it 16 new signings I counted? It might be more or less. I don't know. But it's a lot of work to get so many new players integrated. Has that been a challenge for you?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's obviously in terms of picking the team as well, we've got a bigger squad, the biggest squad we've had. So getting those new boys in and involved, and then having so many on match day, they're definitely trying to kind of figure each other out. There's different personalities. Obviously, we've got one or two of the boys that are still here from last season, but yeah, it's a total change. And those boys that were here last season have got to try and kind of stamp in what we're about as a club and a team. But having these new boys in, like, they're going to take time to get to know how each other play, how the kind of club works on match days, and there's definitely those nerves there. And boys are, playing for places. It's a big squad, so mistakes will happen, and we'll learn from them. And there was a lot of mistakes in the first half that definitely did happen. But look, it's good problems for a management team to have. We're having so many kind of new boys in because it's great. That's for us. It's new characters, new players that bring different things, and we're looking forward to it.
And one we have to mention, of course, is Matt Green coming into the club. So much vast experience, of course, familiar to the area as well. At Newport County, started his career there, and then obviously ventured up into as high as the Championship. How big of an influence will he be this season?
Massive, and he's going to be our captain now for the season ahead. And reasons being, well, many reasons actually, but the reason being his standards and what he's looking to drive within the club. Other players around him, he's been great around pre-season. He's not missing sessions. He's kind of in. He's not one of those who's kind of just in out and just coming in just to have a kick about as such. He did to win. He wants the boys around him to have that same mentality of what's gone to the level he's been at. He scored goals, kind of everywhere he's been really, and not just the goals. His link-up play, his personality, his drive to succeed, help with the management team, going and spending time with the children, like our under sixes the other day, I think it was. He's really bought into the club, the philosophy, what we're looking to do this season, and yeah, he's really bought into it, and that's why as captain this year, I can see him helping those around him, and boys around him have found him infectious, and they want to learn from him. And his finishing, yeah, in training has been different level.
Yeah, it must be a real test and something that a lot of goalkeepers now at the club can improve on when facing a top level striker like that. How talking to goalkeepers actually, how difficult will it be for you to find a number one? Because you've probably four goalkeepers now that are vying for that one place.
Yeah, if you include the legend that is Svetan, then yeah, four. So we've got four lads in. We've got Svetan and Marcel, who've kind of stuck with us from last year, and then we've signed Jack Harris and Suso. Suso making his debut the other day. But we've been honest. We've been honest with all players, and I said to the keepers, the kind of number one shirt's there for whoever wants it. It's fair game. The competition for places all across the team. It's not just the goalkeepers. Means that there's at least two players in each position. So the boys know they've got to work hard. And I think by driving that competitiveness, and as long as it's up to us for management team to try and keep everyone happy because everyone wants to play. But yeah, for the keepers, one place, one position to go for. But it's only going to drive them to play better, perform better, and train harder. And it's a great position for us to be in.
Certainly is. So going into sort of the start of the season, it's quite an unusual one because 4 away games to start the season off is quite a difficult one before we go back to Newport Stadium against Brecon on the 23rd. How are you looking at that? Is it as a manager playing 4 games away from home in places where other teams may feel more comfortable first? Is it something you're looking forward to?
I wouldn't say that. I would like to have had a home game in there, but due to the constraints of the stadium and athletics, it's just one of those things. It's always a bit of a problem for us at the start of the season. However, it's one of those where everyone's got to play everyone at some point. We've got a really, really difficult kind of start to the league. We had a difficult start on the weekend of Cup, so everyone's got to play everyone. For us, it's kind of baptism of fire. The lads have just got to kind of get on with it as a management team. We have as well. They're familiar teams. It's not, we haven't got any new teams that kind of we haven't played before. We know Blaenavon well, Caldicott are their place. I think they were top of the league last year in terms of their home form. So, the first 4 or 5 games, and we've got difficult opponents. It just is what it is. I wouldn't say I'm excited for it, but I'm excited to get the season going. And as a management team, we know that the challenge is there, and if we can pick up 5-7 points in those first few games, then we got to look at it as positive because we want to make our home ground a fortress this year, and we might as well just start as tough as it can be and go from there.
Look at management team. We've got 2 new faces in there with Garrett. Well, old faces actually in Garrett and Tom Hooper. How much of an influence have they had, and what do they sort of bring to your coaching dynamic?
Oh well, look, Hooper was managing this very last year, and I think what he achieved was outstanding. We all know it, kind of the challenges that this league faces. It's a really difficult league. There's so many good teams in there. So for him to kind of, he was like myself in a relegation battle that we were in. Everyone knows it. He did really well. He dealt with it brilliantly. He's been someone that, to be fair, season before I'd asked if he would kind of take on the management role here at the club. So he's someone that I've been kind of talking to for a good few years now. And for me, it's just having someone in who complements my style as well. He's great, a great personality. Tactically, he's spot on. He's played much higher level than I have. So he's got all that experience. And then matched with Geraint, who's exactly the same. He's, playing career has been outstanding. And his knowledge of Welsh football and Welsh leagues is second to none. So having those guys around me, joining with Pete, obviously we said goodbye to Ewan, who's gone on to work for Macclesfield, and he's gone to take a big step in his career, big step forward in his football career anyway. We wish him all the best, but to have those guys join me and Pete has been brilliant to have them on board so far.
Absolutely. So obviously it's a big question to ask as we're only just coming into August. But what are the goals for the season, Sam? What have you written down in your team meetings, and what will you be aspiring to?
Well, we're not paying attention to Dragon Bet because I just don't really know what's happened. How we had some incident about being 28-1, and then we're down there as in being kind of in that relegation battle again to being favourites. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I don't know. I can't explain it. So it's definitely not where our heads are at. Like every single season, really, we've got into it kind of thinking, right, stay in, or if we've got excited, we've gone, oh, we want to be up there. Everyone wants to win every game of football, like every team in the league. So our main thing is, first of all, stay in it, stay in the division. That's everyone's first aim. But with the players that we've signed, we'd be stupid not to say, right, can we be up there? Can we be in the mix? Can we be challenging the kind of boys that really are the favourites? Like Goitra signed unbelievably well, and the battle that was there on Saturday doesn't take away the fact that we might have won that one, but they are, they have the best players in the league at their club. So yeah, them, Thomas, Riska, Andy, Trioin, Caldicott. There's so many teams there. We just have to be realistic and think, right, take each game at a time, as cheesy as it sounds, and just see what we can do. And probably after 10 games, see where we are, and then evaluate from there and see where we can push on if we're doing well from there.
Absolutely, Samuel. It's been a pleasure as always, and we will be chatting pretty much every week. So on the channel, so we'll certainly get a really good view of what it's like. And well, yeah, finally, as well, just a very short term thing as well. Coming up to the first game of the season against Blenavon on the weekend as well. How are you feeling about it? And is there any sort of team people who may not be available yet that you know of?
Yeah, we've got a couple. We've got a couple missing Saturday. This is that time of season where there's holidays in play. People got work commitments as well. So we've also got a wedding. Like one of the lads, Jordan, who captained us the weekend, is his wedding on Friday night. So he won't be available, but he'd be having kind of the best day of his life getting married. So there's a couple of us going. So yeah, we've got a bit of a mixed bag, but we're that's why we've got a strong squad and why we've got the numbers. But in terms of Blenavon, I know they lost on the weekend in the cup, but we had two really challenging fixtures against them last year. I thought they did brilliantly last year. They're a really impressive team, really hard to beat, hard to score against. I think we took a 1-0 at our place and a 1-1 away. But we won't be expecting an easy game on Saturday at their place. And they've been brilliant in terms of putting on the mascots of the day, and hopefully they get a good crowd because everything they do as a club is brilliant. So yeah, looking forward to it. But team news is we've got Greeny back, who will be looking to push for a place in there, even though we've only be looking to try and get a start. So we'll see how he does in training tomorrow.
Fantastic, Sam. Thank you very much.
Cheers.